and water features, and today we're meeting the artist here at the Pond Advisor Invitational competition. And first of all, I'm going to interview Luke. Luke's one of my guys. He's been working for Team Any Pond for 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah, I think about 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah. And
this is the aquatic art box that Luke's created. So tell us about your build.
So yeah, last year in this same competition, just over there actually, I did a little miniature scale, sort of similar theme to this, but with little people instead of this time. Obviously gone for dinosaurs instead.
Gonna bring us down and show us.
Yeah. So,
what's the idea behind it? So it's a miniature landscape?
Yeah, just a
like
miniature
Jurassic
landscape.
Park
Yeah,
of...
yeah, just to kind of, you know, essentially with a very small space, you can get essentially, yeah, in its own world, a very large landscape in a small area. So yeah, obviously just the miniature trees and the dinosaurs, just to kind of give everything a bit of scale. But yeah.
And what's the most difficult part?
Or challenging thing this week? What's the biggest challenge that you've faced this week?
Probably the rock placement, I think. Because this was pretty much all that was left of this particular stone that we had, so it's not like I had a lot of variety to choose from. Although there are some really nice pieces in there.
Where's all the rest of the stone gone?
In my garden. In my front garden. So yeah, that was probably the most challenging thing. And then because it's essentially on a flat base without any sort of shelves or steps to build it up, that was a bit tricky, kind of filling the voids and stuff like that. But yeah, pretty happy with how it's turned out.
So what is the part that you're most proud of?
Probably just the concept, I think, like the miniature, the miniature kind of idea. The fact that, you know, you don't need a massive space for a water feature. But yeah, just probably the miniature scale idea, I think.
So what should people look closely at in your feature? Is it a specific area or is it the whole thing? But you know, if someone was here at Pond College, what sort of like details should they be really looking or paying attention to? Is there a specific one thing, or is it more of the sort of like the stand back and admire, imagination?
Yeah, I think kind of the whole, obviously standing back, seeing it, the whole thing, but then as you get closer, you see more little details sort of all the way around, sort of mini Easter eggs, if you want to call it that. And then for me personally, I like the waterfalls. Yeah, kind of the natural, using the natural bits in the stone to give a good flow.
So let's talk about that. How does water movement play a role in what you've created?
So
you're recreating sort of like a river, or is it a stream?
Yeah.
You know, if you think about the scale of the dinosaurs, you know, what's the water movement role?
So it's supposed to be like a stream, a river, like a natural kind of waterfall, bit of a watering hole, sort of feeding, drinking area there. But yeah, I did also learn something a little while ago about how potentially we're still drinking the same water that dinosaurs have drank.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because of obviously evaporation and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a cool little twist on it as
well.
well.
100%. And it's great that, you know, you can got some of the dinosaurs right up against the water edge, and some are sort of like interacting, and some are watching other dinosaurs. I think it's really cool. So if you had more time, what would you know, yesterday at sort of like 10 to 5 or maybe 4:30, I said, out of 10, what would you give it? And you gave it a 9.5. Let's say that you had another day. What would you do differently? Well, how would you tweak it? Would you do anything? You know, when I look at my features, it's like, yeah, I might rip it out or I might tweak something. So if you had more time, what would you sort of like, what would you do?
It's probably a couple of things. So something you actually pointed out this morning, sort of covering or cutting off these parts.
Like this bit?
Yeah, so that you can't see
it's
the wood.
mirroring this effect over there. So cutting a 45-degree angle off the edge of the box.
Yeah, just so that when you're looking at it, obviously you can't see the timber frame. Another idea I had as well, because it's got a spot, an uplight in here, was to put like an underwater dinosaur so that it reflected up.
Yeah, that would be good. That's what I said to you again with the nighttime illumination. It's like a big broadcast light. You know, it's amazing with the broadcast light and how you've hidden the sort of like the spotlight here. I don't know if it's fixed down, but essentially you've hidden the spotlight with a number of rocks there, and it floodlights the whole thing, so you can actually see the whole thing. So it's like moonlight almost. And I was saying, if you'd have had a dinosaur, maybe you know, like just look at that. That is cool. That is attention to detail right there. He's literally glued one down, and it's literally a case of, it's sort of almost like a dead one that these two have attacked, or a baby or something. That is cool.
That was actually Yorick who was here.
There you
yesterday.
go.
He come up with that idea, to be fair.
So I've just discovered something, and I literally was trying to find a dinosaur that's sort of like just slightly out of place. And I was like, oh, that's one's fallen over. Great, I can pick it up. But actually it's glued to stones. If it wasn't glued to stones, I wouldn't have believed you. But as soon as I picked up those stones, it was like, oh my God, he's glued that down, which is great. But essentially the point I was trying to create is, if you imagine putting a little dinosaur in front of the illumination, you'd get a sort of like a silhouette, and it would be like, oh my, wow. You know, that's, you know, like the illumination of a dinosaur's shadow. You know, like if you imagine the shadow, its light is amazing. Another thing that you could have done with the headlight is you could have created a bit more white water, like a Venturi effect, or you know, like a bit more. If you had a bigger pump, you could still have the same amount of water coming down, but you could have it bubbling, so it's creating that white water at the bottom of a sort of like a pool. So,
Quickly, Humber Coy says, good afternoon.
Hey, how we doing?
Can you just remind people to comment and like, because it sends the live to more people?
Yeah, comment and like, because you're essentially helping us with the algorithm. So if you like the video, if you comment on the video, tell us where you're watching from. And also the digital choice is now available, and it's waterfeature.shop/26. So if you want to vote for your individual choice, there are 3 artists. It's not just voting for Luke. There's also Blaze from Aquatic Gardens, Luke from Team Any Pond, and also Daniel from Brit Pond. We'll talk about those in a second. Let's keep with Luke for a second.
Yeah, so the link is in the description.
Yeah, link is in the description. If you can't hear Caleb, I know we're having audio, you know, with people. We've got loads of mics going on, and the link is in the description for digital choice. I'll take you over there in a second. And also, if you're coming tomorrow and you can see these live in person, you can actually vote for People's Choice, and it's literally put your token that you're given into the actual box. So
the link is also in all the bios.
Yes, the link is on all of the bios in all social media, so you can literally vote for digital choice. Now it's live.
Forgotten Explore says hello, troops. Sun's
Hey,
out.
it
Well
is.
done, everyone.
So, what have you learnt this week? Whether it's from other artists, whether it's from within, whether it's from a combination of things. It's not necessarily, what would you say is your key takeaway? What would you say you've learned?
I think probably just always at this event we have, you know, good people come in, all different sort of backgrounds and experiences. But I think someone always has, you know, that piece of gold, that little nugget of information that other people might not have thought of. So yeah, I think there's always something to, you know, learn every day and pick up on.
Yeah. So it's the network, it's the people coming.
Yeah, probably, and just feeding from them as much as possible.
So going off the back of that, what have you enjoyed the most this week? Or build up, because obviously you've been heavily involved in the whole of the build up of the gardens as well as individual boxes. The weather?
Yeah, the weather's good for a change. Yeah. Yeah, well, all of it really. I've enjoyed sort of working in the gardens, doing bits and pieces in there, getting it obviously ready, changing some pieces up a little bit.
Yep.
The building I've enjoyed, happy with how it's turned out, so that's always good. And then yeah, like the social side of it as well, just meeting new people and stuff.
Amazing. So going back to this aquatic art box, who is this feature sort of like suited to? What type of person, who have you built this for in mind?
Say people that don't have a lot of space.
Yeah.
So I mean, I suppose really it could go indoors essentially. You know.
Yeah.
You probably have to tidy up the sides and stuff to make it look a bit nicer, but.
Or you could do it in a patio pond or anything, and that's maybe
like
something that we do in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously the dinosaurs and stuff for children and stuff like that is a bit more entertaining. But yeah, probably just for people with not much space to build a water feature in.
Amazing. Let's go over to Marcel. Thank you very much, Luke.
Thank you.
Well done. If you want to vote for Luke, put it in the digital choice. Marcel.
Hello, everybody. Again and again. Again and again. So, what do you want to know?
So, we've just gone to the garden centre and
Yes.
we've just bankrupted you.
Literally, yeah. It was like almost 200 quids for a couple of plants, and I was like, oh, jaw dropping. But oh well, whatever. Once in a lifetime experience again. So, yeah, it's coming to life now with the plants. I finished edge work this morning, so an hour ago roughly. So now I'm planting it all up, and then it really comes to life. So that's a good thing to see. So just put some mulch around it. So
if you get in there and have a look at this feature while Marcel's talking. So tell us about this feature, Marcel. What's the details? What are the sort of like what's the idea behind it? I know that.
Well, detail-wise, it's a lot of details. Idea-wise, I didn't have any clue what to do when I came over on Tuesday. So I just picked up some materials and I started with this piece of stone over here. That was the first one I put in. And then it's all just imagination. So I wanted to create a feature with a lot of water movement going from left to right, up and down, and behind rocks and behind stumps. So you have a little trickle of water that's coming from the stump. Then there's a little waterfall going through a stump. Then there's a stump where the water, if you stand in front of it, you can see it literally by the bubbles. It's like shooting out of the side and then swirls its way back to the basin. And then on top there's a little pool where the main waterfalls are. So just not your typical frame rock spillway rock. I like to do something different every time I build something. So yeah, it's more of a deeper sound. So that's a good thing about this feature. I don't think you can hear it, but all the different features are all making different sounds. So that's a really cool thing, I think. Even if you see here, that's a little sheet waterfall. It's like real calm, and then over there on top, it's like rumbling. And even a small spillway where it spills into some kind of a bowl inside of a piece of wood. Put some moss in it, so it's completely different sound. So that's what I'm aiming for. Detail-wise, for instance, like this log I put over here. There's a small little puddle that's going to the side over here. So I intentionally put this log the same height as this one, so it would create a small little puddle. That's a nice touch also for the birds, because birds don't love fast moving water. They want slow moving water. So almost all of the feature is really fast moving. So that's a small little puddle where they can drink or have a good swim or whatever. So yeah, that's a bit of my imagination on picture here.
What's been the biggest challenge this week? We talk.
The biggest challenge. Well, let's think. Oh yeah, I had the idea with the spillway bowl. It's a sphere, or it was a sphere. So I cut it in half, and I wanted it to be elevated like this. Water coming out of the top and water coming out from there, but I just didn't have the time to figure out how to make it sturdy. So that was the thing. I was like, after maybe 45 minutes playing with it, I was like, no, don't
Keep
waste
it
any more
simple.
time. Keep it
But
simple.
you could theoretically do that with acrylic tube
Oh, really?
or a quartz tube.
Yeah.
It's just with the time frame and everything.
Yeah.
What I love is the bubbles coming up there. You
Yeah.
know, explain to the viewers how you've created that. It's sort of almost like a fizzy drink, a carbonated drink. There's
Yeah.
so much detail.
Yeah, well, I didn't intentionally did it, but there's a three-way splitter at the back, and one of the ball valves on the splitter is just leaking a little bit. So
Leaking a little bit of air or sucking in.
yeah,
So it's a
sucking in
Venturi
air,
effect.
so you only see the bubbles in that one.
I think it just adds it.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's huge.
Just a little bit more movement. Yeah,
And you can see that it's like fizzing and popping irregularly.
yeah,
And you've obviously got the foam that, you know, like the protein at the moment.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
sort of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, it's showing the flow.
Yeah, so the foam you can see here, almost with every water feature, especially when you add moss, you will have this foaming. So after a couple of days this will clear and it will be crystal clear water, of course. This on the other hand, it's called white water. That's because of all the movement over there. So it's cool to see how the white water moves. It's like going down there, coming from there, and then swirls around this piece of rock, swirls around that piece of log, and then it's coming down here. So that's all detail work.
And the linear flow just on the side there. People
Yeah.
look at the detail. It's sort of
Yeah.
like, so what part would you say are you the most proud of at the moment? I know it's not finished.
Yeah.
What is the bit that you're most proud of?
I think all the movement on top, where the water is just gorging, and the small little horsetail coming down with the small trickles
Yeah.
coming down from the piece of wood. So the piece of wood was hollowed out, so I sunk the spillway bowl in it instead of putting it on top of it.
Yeah.
Because you don't see things put on top in nature, so always work in layers instead of doing, for instance, this. You don't see this in nature. It's like you don't want to see this edge, so always use layering. That's one of the most important things in detail work in building water features, I think.
And what would you say is the thing that you've enjoyed the most building at Pond College again this week?
Again, meeting all the guys again, or at least the guys who are here again. So
And
yeah,
some new people?
yeah, meeting new people, and of course meeting the Dutch guys. They came over on Wednesday, and I was like, huh? I hear a Dutch accent, like myself. So yeah, that was cool. They didn't know about me, and I didn't know about them. So yeah, it was a cool thing. So yesterday we did some stuff together. So I got the layout, like the design and technical stuff, and I showed them some techniques like bib liners and making small little wetland areas inside of the liner where you can put marginal plants and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was for them really helpful, and for me really nice to teach them. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What have you learnt this week in yourself or outside? You know, what would you say has been the sort of like the teaching moment for yourself?
Well, first of all, I need to get more into the woods and get some stumps back home.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And it's the first time I built something on this scale. I've built way smaller, like last year, and I've built way more bigger, but on a scale like, what is it, 8 foot by 8 foot?
8 foot by 8
So
foot,
roughly
2.4,
by-
2.5 by 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 by 2.5 for our Dutch viewers.
And you've got 370 litres of water in the basin.
Yeah, yeah,
So you know it's essentially it's 100 US gallons.
yeah.
And you know you can see how much water is in motion. There's
Yeah,
loads of water in motion.
Loads of water in motion. Yeah, yeah.
What is the pump? 12,000 litres an hour.
Yeah, roughly 12,000,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So who would you say this feature is most suited for?
Well, for example, I have a garden at home. It's like a post temp. It's like 5.5 by 7.5, something like that. So people who don't need or who don't want a pond because of the maintenance, it's like, well, 2.5 by 2.5, you can create this, and it's a lot of movement. It will attract a lot of wildlife, frogs, newts, birds, insects. You call it damselflies. Build it and they will come. So on a small space, urban, like in the city, in
Front
Holland.
garden,
Yeah,
back garden.
front garden, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You don't need to worry about the depth of the water for safety for kids or whatever. So you can put it in your front garden instead of a pond where you always have to risk kids falling in or dogs, or you don't want that. So you can put this in your front garden. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So guys, you can come tomorrow at 9:30 and you can basically have a look at these features yourself, and you can get to have a look at this. You can get to pick essentially which one you want to place. If you come, you basically get a button, and then you can vote for which one that you particularly want.
I thought you were going to put it in.
No. So I can do a people's choice, as well as we've got the overall champion. So going back to the individual boxes, we've got, this is the digital choice. So the link is in the bio. The link is all over the place. It's waterfeature.shop/26, and you can put your name and you can vote for digital choice. So the Pond Advisor Invitational 2026 Digital Choice Award. If you're coming and you get a green button, then we can vote for People's Choice, which is only for people that come to Pond College. We're open from 9:30 tomorrow morning. We've also got Artist Choice, so all of the artists will be able to vote for their favourite. They can't vote for themselves. We've also got Best Illumination. The judges vote for Best Illumination, and we've got about 7 judges. We've actually got international judges. We've got judges from previous winners of the competition. I will send them videos, and we'll decide later tonight who's won the overall prize and also Best Illumination. So my name's Mark, the Pond Advisor, and I'm here to support you. Dream, plan, joy, restore, create ponds and water features. Until next time, we'll see you in another video.